We're now joined by one of the contestants, Zithobile Sibaya, to tell us more about their experience, as well as a community psychologist with a focus on marriage and family, a therapist, Bakhe Dlamini, who both join me now in the studio. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you, Masechaba. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you very much. So I have so many questions, as probably do many people.
Understandable.
Yeah. I'll start with you, Zithobile, as a participant of the show. I mean, it's the first of its kind in South Africa. How did you find out about it? And did you immediately know that this is something you could do?
Well, I was watching TV one day and I saw the advert and they said, they're looking for singles, please come through. And I immediately grabbed my phone and I was like, I'm doing this thing.
Opportunity.
What's going to stop me?
Wow.
I'm doing it.
Wow.
And I've always wanted to.
Wow.
I watched the American version, the UK version, and I was like, maybe this is for me.
Admirable. Yeah.
So would you say at that point in time you were ready for marriage?
I get a lot of people commenting that I'm marriage material. So I thought, let's see. Let's see this thing.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Bakhe, let's talk about your involvement in the series with a view to understand exactly how the back end of it works. How do you pair up people who don't know each other? What's that process?
We go through psychological tests. We look at personality. We look at conflict management skills. We look at interpersonal skills. And if there isn't a risk factor when it comes to behavior, we try to look at maladaptive behavior. If there's no maladaptive behavior, we try to look at interests of the participant. We look at compatibility, if they could be able to gel. So we try the best. It's a risk. It's an experiment, but we try to best to make an experience out of it. Yeah.
When you speak of compatibility, I'm thinking there are so many areas where we could be incompatible.
Yeah.
For instance, one of them being matters of intimacy.
Yes.
Let me say it in a very clinical way.
Yes.
So I don't know if this person and I are compatible in our private space, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we find out for the first time at our honeymoon on the night. How do you mitigate these risks between two people?
We do have a sexologist who's also on board who tries to take the participants through. From my side as a marriage therapist, there's a lot of psychology involved when it comes to the sex part. When you look at the personal interest, our personal interest says a lot. The first spark should be in our connecting as a couple. Then it makes it easier when it comes to sexuality. But there are deeper concerns, kind of styles of sex and the like. Some of those things we cannot be able to get into it, but what's important, the general elements we are able to see, we are able to get into and are able to work with. But some of deeper details you might, for example, like a certain fetish people have, we might not have information into that and know into that. It's a risk. You just throw people into it and you hope for the best.
Well, I'm sure you were hoping for the best, ma'am. What was your first night like, essentially? I mean, we don't really need to know the details. Look at her eyes going wide. So essentially, so you've said yes to this person that you met at the altar. What was that first night like?
The first night together was, for me, it was terrible.
Okay.
It was terrible. I didn't know this person. He didn't know me.
Yeah.
And now, and I remember, crying because of everything. It's so overwhelming. Yeah. It's so overwhelming. You don't know him. He doesn't know you. Now you're in bed together. You're talking, because I'm a very talkative person. I'm talking to him, but we are just...
We don't know each other.
We don't know each other. We're talking about the how are you feeling? This is exciting. Are you excited? But it was very overwhelming. I was very frustrated. I think we slept in the morning, 3 a.m. because of everything that was happening throughout the day. So I was exhausted. It wasn't very nice.
Yeah, and thank you for that honesty. Your immediate impression in terms of the potential sustainability or longevity of this marriage was?
Longevity. I thought I was going into this with a husband forever. That's what I wanted. That's why I entered the show, because I thought I'd find my love of my life.
The one.
The one. Let's talk about the cultural implications, because I mean, we know, we are Africans, and generally speaking, there are usually processes that have to be followed.
Lobola and
the shebang. What did your family have to say about this?
I come from a very modern family.
Okay.
My mom was like, go ahead, we'll see after what happens. We'll do this. This is now 2024. Things are different now. If you want to do this, let's do it. Let's see. If lobola, if you want lobola, do you even want lobola? She asked me.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, do you want lobola? And she's like, definitely.
Because it's more for the family, right? More than anything, and about bringing together two families, and for whatever that means for the two families. I want to ask you, Bakhe, over and above being a marriage counselor, you are also an author. As a matter of fact, you wrote one of the books that you've written is called The 20 Irrefutable Laws of a Healthy Marriage. Would you share just at least 2 or 3 of those laws of a healthy marriage?
One of the laws, Masechaba, is the law of truth. I think bringing it to married at first sight, what will make the success rate higher is truth when it comes to participants. It is very much easy to do marriage. Actually, it's easy to do marriage. It's only that many a times we've got two tsotsis, or one tsotsi and the other one is innocent. If we were truthful, we'd have a successful rate of marriage. Another law is a law of transparency when it comes to finances. Another law is a law of sexuality. You spoke about the compatibility. Another law is a law of oneness. Some people, they are a divorce case from the very start because they are not one. Some people are one, they are married on paper, but in real life they are not married. So I could keep on going on and on. I still believe in the sanctity of marriage, and this show, Married at First Sight, brought alive some of these laws that you're speaking about in my book, and we'll try the most to help.
And I'd like to expand a little bit on what you've said, because essentially the rates of divorce in South Africa are alarming. Right. And the interesting thing is that many of these people get married to people that they've known and love, and they're married to divorce. Where are people getting it wrong?
The love literacy level that we have is very low. We don't have a course or a subject at school that teaches us on love relationships. So people are not prepared for marriage. Most people are prepared for the wedding day, but few people prepare for the marriage, which is a lifelong experience. We lack premarital counseling, a solid premarital counseling. I do a lot of premarital counseling. Part of the topics I deal with are topics like, for example, communication skills. The number one cause of divorce is communication problems. Many couples lose it there. You're talking about lack of communication or sometimes poor communication. People say cruel stuff. Another element we need to look at is the companionship. Many marriages are dead. I'd say 70% of marriages are dead. Why? Once we get to a level where the only thing we talk about are the bills, the kids, and our jobs, the marriage is dead. We have to talk about prerequisites of getting married. We have to talk about the roles of husband and wife. In as much as we are educated, urbanized, we still have roles we believe in. I could keep talking the whole day.
Did you receive that premarital counseling? What are some of the important lessons you may have learned prior to you meeting your husband for the first time on the altar?
We did receive a little bit of premarital counseling, but I think you were so excited and you just want to meet this person.
I understand.
That everything just goes out of the window.
I understand, I understand.
What were your expectations, if any, of this man, your husband, currently?
Well, I had a list of what I wanted. I wanted him to be handsome. I wanted him to be kind. I wanted him to be communicative. I wanted him to be family orientated. The list is very long.
Is that not part of the issue that we, especially when I say we, women, it's been said that we are the gender that has the longest of lists when it comes to our expectation of partners? How should we be approaching our expectations and when it comes to our relationships?
I don't fear to be controversial, but women are very simple. Women, it's not even money that impresses them, contrary to popular belief. It's a little thing she's talking about. It's locked in a simple word, affection. And you find that many a times as men, we are physical beings, women are emotional beings. As men, we don't understand the emotional language, like holding hands, like cuddling. We're never brought up that way. We struggle many a times when it comes to emotional intelligence, and that's where the cause of divorce lies.
Bakhe Dlamini, thank you so much for your time. And Zithobile Sibaya, all of the best. At the end of the show, you get to choose whether you want to stay married or divorce.
Yeah.
Do we get to know what you're going to choose?
At the end of the show.
All right. I had to take my chances. That was Zithobile Sibaya and, of course, marriage counselor and community psychologist with a focus on marriage and family therapy, Bakhe Dlamini.